Record shopping in Nottinghamshire and Derbyshire, day 4, Chesterfield. Ahoy hoy everybody, and welcome to the last of these videos where I show you the records I bought whilst I was on holiday visiting my dad and stepmum in Nottinghamshire. So over 4 of those days went to various towns, cities, villages surrounding and bought some records. And the last of those days we went to Chesterfield. We were sort of looking in the area where we could go. We were looking at Sheffield, which is a bit further away than everywhere else, but still easily doable. But of the two sort of, highly praised record shops, neither of them were in the city centre. They were all in, the outskirts, if you like, and they were also at opposite ends of Sheffield. So without actually driving into Sheffield, which we didn't want to do, we wanted to use the park and ride, they wouldn't have been easy to get to. It would have been one or the other. So we decided against Sheffield, maybe in the future. But Chesterfield we knew of at least one, and then when I googled it, there was 2 record shops in Chesterfield, and it was only about half an hour down the road, Chesterfield, so we thought we'd give Chesterfield a go. And went in, and the first shop I found was Tall Bird Records, so named because the owner is a tall bird. She's I was going to say a lengthy woman, but you know what I mean, she's a tall woman. It looked quite a small shop, but then it went back. But you walked in, and new vinyl was directly in front of you, which I wasn't interested in. I wasn't looking for any new vinyl. Said hello to the guy sat at the counter, and then spotted the pre-loved. And it was arranged, there was sort of a general A to Z. Then along the window was genres, so punk and new wave, 90s indies, noughties indies, folk, I think, funk and soul, I think, but that sort of thing anyway. 12-inch singles. Then there was a little corridor that had 7-inch singles and CDs, and then a back section that had some racks on the wall that had bargain albums, which were $3.99 or 2 for £7. Then there was also another rack which I didn't look at. I did look at the $3.99 ones. They were all sort of, there was some stuff in there that I own, Gilbert O'Sullivan and stuff like that, but nothing wow, obviously at that price. But then there was another section that was £2 or 3 for a £5, I think it was. I didn't bother going through that because I thought, well, if it's not good enough to even be in that section, it's not going to be much cop anyway. But also there was soundtracks. No, that's where Funk and Soul was, because that's where I had a copy of Love Sexy that I left behind. Jazz was there, reggae, hip hop, and some other genres. But yeah, picked up 4 titles in there. I have a little grading system. I'll show you that as well. The first one I grabbed was Rhythm of the Saints by Paul Simon. So I have this on CD, but because basically this and Graceland I had on CD, but then I got everything else on vinyl, so I thought, I might as well get these on vinyl as well. So they have different stickers depending on the quality of the album. I can't remember them all. Green was very good. Then there was excellent, near mint, and mint. Silver was near mint, gold was mint. I can't remember what the other colours were. So this, as you saw, was $9.99. All the records come in sealable sleeves. Original inner. And yeah, it's sort of a couple of very light marks on it, but nothing was going to affect play. Which is why it's very good. I'll sort that afterwards. Roxy Music's For Your Pleasure, their second album. So another very good one. This was $14.99. On Island. Don't know if that's the original inner or not. I'm guessing not because it's a Decca sleeve. Again, some light marking, but nothing that's going to affect play. On there. In the jazz section for $12.99, and this is a near mint. This is Miles Davis's You're Under Arrest. So this has got his cover of Human Nature, the Michael Jackson track, and his cover of Time After Time, the Cyndi Lauper track on it. But yeah, very nice. All the original inner. And yeah, it was, you know, it's dusty, but it is pretty much mint, hence the rating. And then another near mint, and this is the debut album by Huey Lewis and the News, self-titled. So this is $7.99. That's the only sort of issue with it, is that it's not sealed at the bottom anymore. There's a bit of staining on the inner sleeve, but a vinyl I seem to recall was perfect. Yeah. But yeah, very nice shopping experience in there. One problem, and it's, you know, in a way it's a nice problem for them to have, was that the racks were overfull, you know, to the extent that you had to take stuff out to be able to browse through it properly, which wasn't a big deal. Yeah, it wasn't a big deal, but it can be, you know, when it's not quite enough for you to take out. Sometimes when you're getting near the back, you do think, oh, sod it, and you miss the last few things. But yeah, otherwise, very good store. Then I went to find Vanishing Point Records, and I was following the map, and it was very clear that it should sort of be in the middle of all these shops, and I literally mean in the middle of all these shops, and I'm trying to find it, and I get to where I think it should be, and it looks like there's just a shop there and no way to get behind it. But then I just saw this little alley, and as I turned towards the alley, there's a sign saying more independent shops this way. So I went down there and found a shop. Apparently that's either new premises or they've knocked through into a second premises or something, but he's been doing a lot of decorating from what I heard. As you went in, I'm trying to think, did he have any new records at all? No, I think it was all pre-loved in there. But as you went in, there was folk and psychedelia, I think it was, and that sort of stuff. So Dylan and Simon and Garfunkel and all sorts of that, plus stuff on the wall. Then he went round, and everything was sort of by genre rather than by era or alphabetical, but in each section it was largely, not entirely, but largely alphabetical. Plus loads of stuff on the walls as well. But there was funk and soul, disco, various, you know, reggae, various subgenres of rock, heading on one wall, then pop. Then there was some steps up to another section, and that was all 12-inch singles and 7-inch singles. Then back down was, I can't remember, it's a little section, but I can't remember what was there. Whatever it was, jazz I think and stuff like that. Then there was soundtracks. No, jazz was next to soundtracks. Can't remember what was in that other section anyway. yeah, remember the soundtracks and jazz. Yeah, my mind's gone blank as to what the other sections were, but they're all by genre. It was interesting because some artists were in multiple different sections. You know, so for Prince, for example, was in funk and soul, but it was also in pop. You know, and so I haven't quite sorted, by doing it that way, they haven't quite sorted where stuff goes. But yeah, picked up a fair bit in there. Mainly satisfying two different collections. So first up are some Prince records. So I'm just trying to get these in some sort of order. So these are all records that I own vinyl copies of, but all the vinyl copies of them I have. Obviously I've got them on CD and cassette because I've got everything. But all the vinyl copies I have are modern reissues from 2016 onwards. So these are earlier 80s pressings. They're not necessarily originals, but they're certainly early. No later than 86, I would say. Probably no later than 84, to be fair. Slightly overpriced, again, to be fair, but wanted to grab them whilst I could. So first up is 1999, the album. So yeah, I've got lots of versions of his album, but not the original double album on an 80s pressing. Sleeve is a bit tatty on this. It's sort of falling apart there. This was 1999, rather appropriately. And the inner sleeves have got some sort of yellow... I'm guessing it's a mould of sort, but it looks like it's going to clean off okay on them. It's not an original pressing because it hasn't got the eye. The originals, the label was a picture of Prince's eye. So it's clearly not an original. But I think it's no later than 84. Which will do me. But the actual records themselves look fine. So yeah, I'll clean up those inners. Not a lot I can do about the outer, unfortunately. Controversy, the album preceding that. Again, 1999. Again, slightly overpriced. The sleeve, it looks like it's sort of got a bit damp, or it's been stored in a damp place anyway. It's got those sort of wrinkles on it, but otherwise it's fine. No ring wear or anything like that. And again, a slightly later pressing of this. Most, all the albums are repressed after Purple Rain to cash in on the success, and I think these are probably all from them. Not sure, can't remember if that should have had a different inner as well. Can't remember on that one. The next one definitely should. Which, also 1999, this is his second album, a self-titled album. Yeah, so again, this is presumably the same owner, but slightly wrinkled as if it's been damp. And this should have had a custom inner sleeve with the lyrics and everything on it. And again, is a later pressing, going by the label. So yeah, I freely admit I have overpaid on those three. By even as much as £10 on some of them. But I haven't found originals of them in the 3-4 years I've been collecting vinyl again. So I wanted to grab them whilst I could. Cue now me finding them all the time. In which case I'll probably buy them if they're cheaper. Also a 12-inch. And again, I've only got a modern reissue, a 2016 reissue of this. That's Purple Rain. This one's about right money-wise. This was $9.99. I think it's normally, depending on quality, £8 upwards. But this is absolutely spotless, I seem to recall. Bit of dust on there, but otherwise immaculate. Then in the in the 12-inch section, I also picked up this Pretenders for 007, If There Was a Man. So this is from Living Daylights. This was $3.99, which is bang on Discogs price. So Pretenders contributed 2 tracks to the Living Daylights soundtrack, If There Was a Man and Where Has Everybody Gone. They're both on here, together with John Barry's Into Vienna. But yeah, nice Bond sleeve. And again, vinyl is immaculate apart from a little bit of dust. So that's nice to have for the Bond collection. And the Pretenders collection, but I don't really collect them. And speaking of the Bond collection, they had 3 actual soundtracks and a compilation. Sorry for knocking that. In the soundtrack section that I needed. So first up is Diamonds Are Forever. So, I haven't shown you on the sleeve. It sort of tells you what genre they've been classified as, what they are, whether they're on Discogs, that's obviously for them, so they know whether they need to take them off Discogs. And then the condition, and they circle the condition. So this has been circled between very good and very good plus. That's pretty much only because of the sleeve, it's a cutout corner. Plus, and this might be why, it's actually a bit of a Frankenstein record. Because the actual disc, it's Diamonds Are Forever, I can't remember if I said that or not. The actual disc, it's got a couple of light marks on it, but should be fine, is the UK version, with the UK catalogue number. Just caused me a bit of a headache when I was trying to find it on Discogs, because the sleeve is a US sleeve with a US catalogue number. So not entirely sure what's happened there. Certainly fairly unique. This was $19.99. Also $19.99 for your eyes only. So this is classes between very good plus and near mint. The sleeve is pretty much immaculate. Probably the original inner. And the disc, yeah, I can't see anything wrong with that, to be honest. I think they probably undergraded that. Unless it turns out to be noisy or something. I had quite a few Bond soundtracks, but most of them I already had. And Octopussy, this was $14.99. This is classed as near mint. And it is, you know, the sleeve for a white sleeve is nice and clean. And all the corners and everything are sharp. And yeah, the vinyl, again a little bit of dust, but otherwise perfect. And then another, what I call a silly Bond compilation. So an unofficial, must be fairly official because it's got the pictures though, I'll say that. The James Bond 21st Anniversary Instrumental Album from Dr. No to Octopussy. This is between very good plus and near mint for $4.99. Some VCL records. As I say, they've managed to secure the rights to a lot of images for it. But it's basically instrumental versions by the Nicky North Orchestra of all the theme tunes up to and including Octopussy. But again, the vinyl is pretty much perfect. But very nice for a Bond collection. And then I spotted an album up on the wall that I was sort of aware there had been a vinyl release of, but never quite believed it. And thought, you know, maybe they were just bootlegs or something, but no, it looks totally official. So I grabbed it. This was £40. and it's marked as very good plus. But this is Queen at the Beeb. So this is the compilation that came out in 1989 of some of Queen's BBC radio sessions. It's sort of been superseded by the white CD box set thing that I can't remember. It might have had the same name even. But I had the cassette of this, and I think I got it on CD from 1989, and I've always loved. This is early Queen. You know, this is my first 2-3 albums. My Fairy King, Keep Yourself Alive, Doing All Right, that sort of era. You know, tracks I absolutely love. So always enjoyed this album. So as soon as I saw that, I thought, I'm having that. Definitely. So that all came to, I think it was something like £173.50 or something like that. Well, you know, some odd pence anyway. He rounded it down to 170, which is fair enough. You know, it's not a huge saving, but it's better than nothing. He also insisted on giving me a loyalty card. It was every, like Slice of Vinyl used to do, every £10 you spend, get a stamp, fill it up, you get £10 off. I did say there's not really any point because I'm not local, but he said, we'll take one anyway. I'll probably go back there in the future next time I visit Dad and Pauline, so hopefully we'll use it. But yeah, that was my haul for my holiday over 4 videos. Really pleased with a lot of that. Some good finds. And those bargain box sets from the charity shop on day 2, I still can't get over how cheap they were. He says, looking at them. But yeah, if you've watched all 4, well done. Hope you've enjoyed them. But thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you in another video. Thanks. Bye.